Do you think AD is basically a Laker for the rest of his career, a Laker for life moving forward? Or do you think he does find his way on another team, or LeBron ends up leaving? And Jovan Bu, I had this too. If LeBron ends up leaving, then maybe Anthony Davis will decide that, all right, let me see what else is out there. And let me go try to play with another. Let me try to go compete for an NBA championship. And if LeBron's not here, then I don't think I have a chance to compete. AD is an interesting one because I'm a fan of AD, but one of the things that I think we all have a similar conversation about when it comes to Anthony Davis is this man a player that you can say, here are the keys, this is the franchise, it's not any other franchise, this is the Los Angeles Lakers, there's a lot of pressure, it's unrealistic, the fan base thinks they're supposed to win every single year. The front office is the team comes from a family with the greatest owner in probably the history of professional sports, that was basically in the NBA Finals every other year, won 10 championships under his belt. Is that the franchise that you think you can lead? And I will tell you that Anthony Davis, in his time as a Los Angeles Laker, has never made me feel, oh, this dude he's the one. This is Shaquille O'Neal, or this is Kobe Bryant, or this is LeBron James, or this is Magic Johnson, or this is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, or this is Jerry West. He's had moments where you feel like that. He's had moments where you say to yourself, damn, I mean, look, think of the start of the season this year, how great Anthony Davis was. And listen, maybe he has some injuries. I know that it's plantar fasciitis, it sounds like he's been dealing with. But think about the start of the season when everybody's like, oh my gosh, look at AD. This is it. This is it. The MVP. He better be in that conversation. And then how quickly it just faded away. What doesn't happen with all those other players that we talked about, they don't just fade away. Kobe might have some bad games. Keys are still in his hands. Shaq might go through a stretch where he wasn't, actually, I don't even remember some of those stretches, but Shaq was incredible and dominating every single season he was a Los Angeles Laker. Maybe not the best player in the world, but certainly more nights than not look like it. LeBron, I don't need to go through his resume. Magic, I don't need to go through his resume. My only question for Anthony Davis has always been, I don't think you're the guy that you would have already grabbed the keys by now if this was your franchise, but you don't. The keys are there. They're laying on the counter. I'm going to grab them tonight. Okay, cool. Well, what about tomorrow? Tomorrow I'm going to be in the passenger seat. I think Anthony Davis, the question of, is he going to be a Laker for life? If now all of a sudden there's conversations out there, hey, if Bron's not here, does AD want to stay? I'd like to see Anthony Davis stay. I'm a fan of Anthony Davis. I'm a fan of what he does on both sides of the floor. But if the Lakers are going to put together a championship roster, and let's say hypothetically it was just around Anthony Davis, and what are the building blocks after that, I don't feel comfortable about that. Now, if you told me they go out there and get another superstar, because that's what the Lakers do, and that's why the Lakers don't typically rebuild, if that was the conversation, then okay, it's a little bit different of a story. But the AD piece is going to be fascinating to watch here over these next couple of years. What does LeBron do? How does that affect Anthony Davis's decision? Remember, AD only came to the Lakers and only wanted to come to the Lakers because Bron was here. Once Bron got here, then Anthony Davis eventually worked his way over, a part of Clutch Sports and everything else. Does that change if Bron's not here? And I know this, and I think most Laker fans would feel the same way. If you got a player like Anthony Davis, you better go get a player equally as good as Anthony Davis that most of the time enjoys having the keys in their hands, because AD's never really gave me that feeling that, he's the player that you can depend on and have the best player on a championship team. All right, let's see what we got here. AD needs a Magic Johnson like Kareem had a worthy Cooper Nixon. I don't disagree with that at all. AD gives great games, but then disappears for a few games at a time. AD is a follower. By the way, I don't disagree with these. I really don't. And to be honest with you, I don't know if this is if these are all slaps in the face towards Anthony Davis. I think it's just reality. Now, What I will say, management still has not given him a big man. Um, yeah, I don't wanna make any excuses for Anthony Davis. I don't think people are saying, I don't think people out there are kinda sitting back and, saying to themselves, I don't think they're saying that Anthony Davis doesn't can this team use more pieces? Sure. So can every team in the NBA, you know? I don't know if Giannis, some of these other guys are making excuses, not making excuses, all that stuff. All right, let's keep rolling here. But I do think the AD stuff that's going to be an interesting conversation when you kind of watch what happens with Braun. Where does everything go from there? All right, some stats on the Lakers' last ten games, and then I want to get into this Shams thing here real quick. So, just there's a good article from Jovan in the Athletic, and yeah, here's another one here, and I think that's kind of how a lot of people feel. AD is not a alpha; he's more Robin than Batman. He needs a co-star to thrive and win. Let's just put it this way: Braun is gone in a year or 2 years or whatever the case is. Um, Anthony Davis is going to he's definitely going to need some help, like most stars do. But AD is, I'm not going to sit here and if I was making the argument early in the year, he's top five in the NBA. He's just not. That's just not consistent enough. All right, just one other thing here that I'm going to do on the Lakers. I'm going to get into the Shams thing, and then we'll keep the show moving. Um, so Lakers are 3-7 in their last 10 games. Hopefully tomorrow they could kind of turn things around. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I have no idea what's going to end up happening in regards to that. But if Bron's not playing in that game tomorrow against Minnesota, it's certainly going to be a tough game on the road. But the one thing Lakers have nothing to complain about is rest.